So let me know when we're ready.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon. It is the Hendersonville Public Works Committee scheduled for March 24th at 5:30 p.m. here this evening. Alderman Martin is going to be just a little late. He's like everyone else from Hendersonville. I'm sure the traffic is really bad coming out of Nashville, but he'll be here about 10 minutes late this evening. Hopefully, when he walks in, I'm going to say, okay, I need a motion to adjourn and see what he says. But anyway, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum, and if there's no objection, is there any addition or deleting to the acceptance of the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move right along. I need a motion for the minutes approval of February 24th of 2027.
Move to approve.
Okay, and I will second that motion. Any further discussion on the motion of the minutes? Hearing none, is everyone ready to vote? All in favor of approving the minutes of February 24th, 2026, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, it passes unanimously. Citizens' comments. Is there any citizens here tonight this evening? Why don't you sit up here with us? Oh, okay. Oh, so that's kind of you to do that. All right. There's none. We'll move right along to the ordinances and resolutions. We have one resolution, or two resolutions rather. One, the first one is the reading of a resolution 2026-09, a resolution accepting the dedication of the completed streets on Durham Farms, Phase 4, Section 35B in Hendersonville. And need a motion.
So I move.
Okay, and I will second that motion. Any discussion on the streets or the Phase 4 of the streets? Would they meet our approvals? You know?
They're substantially in compliance with our requirements. So,
All right.
yeah.
Substantially. Okay.
Well, I mean, there could be
Okay.
something hidden that we
Okay.
can't see, right?
Okay. No. All right. Director Free, did you have anything to?
Now, I will note that just for reference, that this is the last section to be approved in Durham Farms. So all the other sections have been approved, and this will make the very last one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great.
It's 34B, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
34B.
35B.
35B, yes. We've already done 34B.
You're right. Okay. Mayor, do you have anything on this?
I don't appreciate it.
All right. Jesse, how about yourself?
No, sir. It looks good.
Timothy, anything for you, brother?
All systems go.
All right, okay, here we go. Since there's no other further discussion on this, we'll go ahead. All in favor of Resolution 2026-09 is accepting the dedication of the completed streets in Durham Farms, Phase 4, Section 35B in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, it passes unanimously. And now we have on first reading, our last resolution is 2026-10, which is a resolution of the City of Hendersonville authorizing city monument signs within the city limits. And I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, and I'll second it for discussion. And so is everybody ready to discuss it? Because I don't.
Can I throw out something real quick?
Yes, sir, by all means.
So we probably should have gone on a field trip down the hallway because we have a model of this in the planning.
Yeah.
That Timothy put up, and it's pretty cool to see it. To me, this falls in with what we're trying to do on West Main Street in the older part of town. Is we want people to know, especially if they're coming from Davidson County. You're in Hendersonville now. That's why the trees were planted there years ago. That's why we're doing sidewalk work. That's why we're doing more landscaping there. We hear from police officers all the time that the criminals that come in from Davidson County, they know not to come to Hendersonville. We want to tell them where Hendersonville is. At the same time, for a little while, the city ignored that part of town. Moved the library out of there, moved City Hall out of there, spent a lot of infrastructure on other parts of the town. It's time that we focus on that part of town. If we expect people in business to reinvest in the older parts of town, we've got to reinvest in the older parts of town. It's not just about a welcome sign. It's what we're saying, that we care about this area of Hendersonville, and it's not Davidson County. It's not Madison. We have money in the budget for what we think the estimated cost is. If it's lower than that, we get to save some. If the bid is higher than that, then we'll have to come back. But we hope that we've gotten the budget. We'll cover it.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen, I think that I walked down there. Is it? There it is. Never mind. It's in Exhibit A. So, I was gonna look at that right
Oh,
quick.
one more thing I should explain is that capital projects looked at this. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the reason that we're here is because TDOT said that they would feel more comfortable with the resolution from the city.
Sure.
It's already in the budget. Capital projects looked at it, but TDOT said that they felt like a resolution was in order. So
Did the planning look at it too?
Yes, they did.
And they approved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see this or not, but that's what it looks like right here.
That's it.
Okay. So, I think it's really nice, and I think you're exactly right about that area of town. I know that wards 3 and 2, and of course, a lot of people that go into 1, as well as the whole city, will be appreciative of that. When will they start on that, Mayor? Do you know?
we have to go for bids. Is that right, Scott?
Yeah, and designed and advertised.
Is there
Okay.
a possibility we could start before the end of the fiscal year?
Probably not on construction.
It's stretch.
Okay.
Timothy's been working on it.
Right.
And taking the lead on it. As far as the timeline, we're actually in the process right now of there's several things with TDOT and with what they're going to need, whether they need engineered drawings before we go out to bid or that type of thing. This element tonight, this is one of the two things that they need moving forward with permitting. So it's going to kind of depend. But we're anticipating this week we're going to come up with a very aggressive construction schedule. So
Okay.
I don't know that that'll be done before the end of fiscal year.
Right.
Certainly we'll work with finance to secure everything we can within the budgeted funds that we have for the Westlake area for this. And if we need to, carry those over as well. So securing those through POs before the end of the year, fiscal year, and then also carrying that over. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
There are several or many TDOT departments that this has to go through.
Sure.
The local departments, then it gets escalated to the regional, and they look at the initial plans, and then they do an approval, and then add final plans. So it's a lot of TDOT, movement on the TDOT end that has to happen. We don't know what their schedule is.
Okay.
And this is a significant structure, so that's, there's cost to engineering, because it's a significantly tall structure that makes a pretty strong statement. But I wanted to mention too is this is not a one-off. We're looking to utilize the planning and designing for this particular monument to be duplicated in different parts of the city, the different entry points. So we're looking to utilize the same structure in the next few years as well.
Can I say one more thing one more time?
Yeah.
We do need to try to get this to the Bowman tonight. It is on the agenda. So if y'all will consider that in your motion, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Wait the 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, definitely, yeah, we'll do that, okay. We were talking about this right here,
Okay, thank you.
and, it seems like that everyone's much in approval for it.
I like it too.
Okay, good. All right, so let's go ahead,
Question.
oh, yes, yeah.
Is this going to be where the existing sign is now?
No.
Yes.
Will the existing sign be taken down
Uh,
once this is up?
We're not addressing that right now. That would certainly be once we get this up. That's something we need to fully address. Removing the existing sign isn't necessarily a part of this phase of what we're looking at doing, but that's something that we need to look at once we get this down.
So is the existing sign at the city limits?
No, I didn't.
Will this be closer to the city
Yes.
limits?
Yeah,
So I would think that we do need to take down the other sign.
yeah,
I would
Yeah.
think that needs to be part of the staff's plan.
yeah.
To have one consistent sign.
Yes.
And is there going to be landscape around it?
Yes.
Yes. Timothy is going to be doing the
And
design.
the light in it, Is it gonna be bright enough where people can see it, or is it gonna be just a dull, 20-watt bulb?
I would think it's gonna be something in the middle. It's not gonna be like a searchlight,
No, but
like
it
a
needs to,
beacon.
it needs to
Yeah,
be visible.
it would
Like the
it would be
Luxor
visible.
Casino.
We'll make sure of that.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
what- And part of what our plan is, we're being budget conscious as well, but also we're making a statement with this sign as you come into the city. But, as we get a little bit further into it, depending on budget constraints, it may be something where the potential for it to be lit will be there, where we go ahead and have all the conduit, but it may have to be another phase that does that. We're hoping that's not the case, but we're just thinking ahead,
So,
in case that's
The design that we're looking at doesn't have a light on it
it does,
that will be lit.
yes.
Okay.
But it as we get into it and then get the final design, and then we get the bids, and those bids come in, then we're going to have to look at what our available resources are to tackle that. And so our initially, yes, we want to do the full thing, but we're limited with the existing resources we have unless we come back, to get a little bit more. So I just wanted to kind of share.
Well, Mayor, come back to us. I mean, let's do it right. If we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Okay.
Let's put a light in it. Let's let the light, and not be a night light, but something that,
Right.
a beacon, that people can see. So, okay,
That's good.
that's all the questions I have.
All right.
We are also working with the police department to determine if we can attach LPR cameras onto this location, or if this location would be good for it. So if we bring power over to the area, it might be an opportunity for LPR camera as well.
How will the aesthetics look on that?
We could either attach it or do it as a standalone. But it would be, we don't have any at that entry point to the city, so that are close to that entry point. So you could be welcome to the city, and if you have a stolen vehicle, the cops can welcome you to the city, right?
Give you a good welcome to Hendersonville. Yeah. All right. Well, as long as it doesn't obstruct the beauty of it,
Right.
because
Right.
that's important for Hendersonville, especially that side of town. I think that's probably in Ward 3 or 2. I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah. So, and I agree with the mayor on this, and I'm going to mention it tonight in a short public works report at the board. I promise you that. The beautifying that section of town, and I really appreciate your thought on that, because that is something that we as aldermen in that area have represented either that area over the years, or even in wards 1, 2, and 3. A lot of folks sometimes think that we forget about them on beautifying that section of town, but we have been doing that, and I appreciate you saying that with the sidewalk issue and the trees and things like that. So we're trying to do right, do right by the folks on that in our side of town, and I appreciate that. All right, is there any other further discussion on Resolution 2026-10? That is the resolution of the City of Hendersonville authorizing the city monument signs within the city limits, and we recommend this being passed tonight by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and being added to the agenda as well. Hearing no discussion, is everybody ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 2026-10 signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. No votes. No votes. Okay. Now we are on to other agenda items, and that is our trash collection. How did it go this past month?
Pretty good. I mean, it's generally remained flat over the last several months. I mean, you'll see a few spikes there, but daily misses of under 10. So
Okay, well, that's good. I mean,
total of 88 in the reporting period.
Okay, good deal. I think I said last month I might have had 2 calls on that on the trash. They went right by and picked them up. Didn't even have to call City Hall or document it. It was very minuscule. I didn't have any this time since our last one. I don't know if anybody else did, but I did not. I had 0.
They just missed mine, but that's okay. I reported it and they came out the next day. right.
Yeah.
I went through the portal and reported it. It worked.
Good. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. So that did work. But as you can tell on the grade or whatever you want to call it, scaling, it's our trash pickup has been real low, and that's always a good sign on that. Okay. Any other discussion on the trash? Hearing none. We do need to talk about this a little bit because we're getting ready for the rain and windy time of year and tornado time, and that is storm debris removal update. And we just need a verbal update on that. They've been really good, by the way.
So, beginning of last week, we released the crew, the large trucks from
Okay.
working in the city. I think there was one that stuck around for a day or two after the majority of them were released. And we're currently operating one city truck that's doing storm debris removal through the end of this week with monitoring, so we can seek FEMA reimbursement. But generally, it's we're kind of at the end of that storm cleanup
Okay.
from the ice storm. We had just shy of 116,000 cubic yards of debris removed from the city.
Wow.
So the reduced volume on that so far is 24,000 cubic yards of wood chips. There's probably still a little bit more to be done there. I think they'll be around for about another week or so.
Okay.
Grind that all down.
You know how that compares to Gallatin or
I-
even Nashville? Do you have it? We don't.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I know just from what I've gathered from our FEMA coordinator and discussions is that Hendersonville was ahead of the curve on getting the removal done and
Yes.
taken care of.
Yes.
So
Kudos to the staff.
yeah, and cost wise, on debris removal alone, we hit just shy of $2 million. I think that's kind of about where we're going to stabilize. And then we had the monitoring costs on top of that, which was roughly another 500,000 in monitoring costs.
So would you consider that maybe an under budget type? What we budgeted for, would it be about this? Would it be right on time, or is it under the budget, or that we had, or do you really? Can you say that?
I think based on initial assessments and discussions, it's probably about right where we expect it to be. Yeah.
All right.
And we were actually able to negotiate a little bit with the vendor, and they worked to drop their price for us. We had a pre-negotiated price, and they actually dropped it a little bit for us when they came into the city. So we just had some discussions about how we could be more efficient with it. And so Stephen did a great job on actually getting them to reduce an approved pre-negotiated price. They did a great job for us. We gave a great survey to them when we filled out their survey
Yeah.
for the next RFP that they put in for. But yeah, we thought it could go up maybe as high as 3 million. We thought it'd be around the 2 to 3 million, so it's kind of right in the middle.
Okay.
We have some available funds if we need to, but it looks like we're going to finish about 500,000 under our total available funds we have for that cleanup.
Well, that's excellent work to be, right where, we thought it would be, instead of saying something, astronomically wrong. And then we got to go, well, it's a little bit more than that than what we thought. So I would much rather have, what it is now. We nailed it right where it was, what we thought it would be. So that's good news on that. I will say that those guys really worked their hind end, their rear ends off. They really did. And you know, I watched them, and they'd get out there and they'd get all that stuff, and they would like rake um, the debris up and put it in the bin. And I just really appreciated what all they did. They did a really good job. And so our crew, when they start going out, you know, they're gonna have a fresh start pretty much. I know some people I've driven in the ward have already put additional, because it was I'm telling you, you know, and I'm not kidding here. I guess I'm talking to people in public. The trees were really that we were hit pretty bad, and I'm just so grateful to the mayor's administration and to the board of aldermen also, who anticipated perfectly on this, because we anticipated it, and it unfortunately turned out, you know, to be a bad one, but we were ready for it. And so I'm very proud of that we were. So now we've gotten through with the storm debris removal.
Let me ask you
Yes, sir.
some questions.
Yes.
So what about the FEMA process?
It's
Reimbursement.
it's lengthy, but the fact that we used a monitor that kind of knows what they're doing in this process, and they're already set up to take care of the FEMA paperwork, it should go smooth for reimbursement. Like they documented everything that occurred along the way, from the moment it got picked up to the moment it went to the debris management site, to when it turns into chips and gets hauled off to the disposal site in Nashville. And that's all of the documentation that FEMA is looking for. But I still think it's going to be like a 2-year process, you know.
Yeah,
to get
you know
reimbursed.
when we intend to file for that?
It will be soon, since FEMA actually scheduled to come out here. I believe it was this week or next week, and we told them there's nothing to see. We've already cleaned up the city, so they've actually canceled their visit out here. So we should be able to wrap up. That's part of the process you have to go through. We should be able to wrap up our package pretty soon to send it to them. We have someone who that's what they do, a consultant. That's what they do for a living. So it will be a very expedited. I'm sure we will be the first in the area to submit to them. And FEMA reimburses 75% of our costs. Traditionally, the state comes in and does 12.5%. So there's 25% after FEMA, and then traditionally the state comes in at 12.5%, and then 12.5% is on us. But if we provide labor, which we have through our own crews working out there, that's counted towards our 12.5%.
Good.
So hopefully we're in the 95th percentile for reimbursement on this, and we will submit for everything that we can, equipment, guys. We put generators out on the lights. All that is packaged up into our reimbursement for the storm. It's not just the debris cleanup.
And a related question on the storm. So, mayor or staff, have we had any communication with the Nashville Electric? You know, have they reached out, and have we shared with? You know, I mean, what's the status of that?
So we had a meeting with them last week, following on the same topics before, as reliability and resiliency. We had a great conversation with their vice president of operations and a little bit with the president also. They're interested in creating a more reliable system here, but they're also interested in doing their whole service area. So Jesse is supposed to get back with them, so they're going to provide them with some data, so they can look and start get a semi idea of what the engineering would look like, therefore what the cost would be. But they still remind us that this has to be something that benefits NES, and that's going to be the basis for how much they're willing to spend on. Am I hitting that correctly, Jesse?
Yeah, and I think they are heavily focused on how they respond in the future and making the infrastructure more resilient. Some of the challenges they have with the trees and power lines in backyards. So we talked specific projects with them in Hendersonville, and they're actually working on getting some schematics to us on how to underground in some areas. So I think they were very responsive to the mayor's request.
So they're interested in some underground investing in some underground facilities.
They're not going to pay for all of it. That's
No.
very, very clear. But they see a benefit in it, and they're with the schematics that they can draw up, they can eventually get to a point they can figure out how valuable it is to them.
Do they have a map of where the concentration of power loss? I'm sure it was a peninsula, wasn't it? The peninsulas. I mean, do they have like a Hendersonville map of where their
I'm
They're
sure they do.
major outages?
One of the reasons we want to focus on West Main Street, though, is because those are the lines that serve everybody.
Right.
We do have some coming off of Saundersville substation, but that's sort of where we're focused right now. Now, down the road, a couple years from now, we'll start looking. Okay, what's the second phase? What's the third phase? What's the fourth phase?
Okay. Thank you.
I'll just make one other note regarding
Yeah.
the debris removal. Our limb crews are starting to return to their normal limb route, other than that one truck that's doing the debris removal through the
Okay.
end of the week. So, residents should expect the normal limb routes now.
Okay, normal routes are starting. They're starting back right now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, if it's anything, I can tell you where the majority of the electricity went out was on the Indian Lake side.
Yeah.
Based on
With
the
my
emails.
phone calls.
Yes. That's where
That's where they.
aerial cables and trees
Yeah,
are.
yeah, that's where it hit the hardest, and I think, wards 1 and 2 and probably 3 were the ones that really didn't. I mean, the whole city got hit, but they didn't get hit as hard.
Well, especially the parts of the city that have newer neighborhoods, which
Yes,
have underground power.
that's very true. So that's something to discuss at a future date. All right. Is that anything else on the storm debris?
Well, what's the status of the legislation on NES?
So there's an amendment to a caption bill, might have been yesterday, I believe so, requiring that all cities, not sure if it's cities and counties, that have NES customers would have a seat on the board. There are some problems with that because, I'll give you an example. Gallatin has 26 customers on NES. We have several thousand. Nashville has 400,000. So how do you equate a representative?
Proportional.
Yeah, exactly. But there is a bill filed, and the conversation I had with James Dunn is that the sponsors know that there needs to be a little bit of give and take there. But they continue to have conversations with NES. They continue to have conversations with other carriers. But they also look at the possibility of allowing cities like us to cities throughout the whole state to take those, make it easier to take that equipment, take that infrastructure, start their own power company, or essentially give it to another nearby adjacent power company to run it. That's in the bill as well. It's just filed. That's all it is.
So Sumner County has, I think the county has filed a resolution supporting
Okay.
that. Does Hendersonville need to do a resolution supporting a voice on the NES board?
We did one in 2004, but we should probably do it again.
Yeah, I'd be glad to help sponsor that if I mean, I think the more the better,
I appreciate you asking that because I was a sponsor of that bill in 2004.
Yeah.
So I think that we should probably do that.
Could you get Lance?
Actually, I think you and I were sponsors.
Yes,
of it
we
in
were.
2000.
I was gonna say that you and I were sponsors of that. Yes.
Well,
I do
if y'all
remember
want to
that.
be the sponsors, that's fine. I just think that let's pile on a little here,
Makes
Let's
sense.
keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
And I've been very open with NES, letting them know that we want to work with them to put our power lines underground, but at the same time, we want to work with the state to make sure that we have some representation on the board.
All right. Mike, you have anything to say on that one?
No.
You're for it?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I think
Now-
we'll all be for it.
Yeah, did you not, Casey, I wanted to ask you a question on the, about the storm pickup, because that's important to us. I mean, it really is. And I don't want to, overlook some of the things that we've done. with the way that the website was set up, did we have a lot of complaints, or is that in your purview of,
Public Works fields
Not the
those
free,
calls if they
okay.
come in. We did have some that would come in through the front, and I would hear about those. Either they would be forwarded to me, or they would let me know.
right?
But they weren't that bad. I think by and large, early on, we had a lot of questions around if we were picking up in the county, or where their house fell, or what the routes looked like, or when to expect that. But as soon as we directed people to the website and where to find it, and then of course we did a really good video that we put out about the process, and then I think we had 2 or 3 other updates that we put out publicly in addition to that. I don't think we had a lot. I mean, I know Public Works had some specific things where houses were missed. There were a couple instances related to power lines or
Right.
things like that where they couldn't be picked up that we had to navigate through. But by and large, I don't think we had an exorbitant amount of complaints at all.
Good.
And likewise, some of those trucks are so big they can't make it into the cul-de-sacs and actually turn around. So, it had to be our smaller trucks that had to go into some of the cul-de-sacs.
Well, we were prepared for it. We knew it was coming, and so so just appreciate the effort that you did for that, as well as Public Works, and that's what we're there for. So I like it when I hate it when it's here, but I'm real excited that we're taking care of the business when it is here. All right, is that all on storm? Anybody else want to talk about storm removal update? Okay, hearing none, we'll move right along to the Drakes Creek and Stop 30 intersection project. Just a verbal update on that.
Yes, we've made progress on tract 9, the cemetery. There's going to be a petition filed with the court for acquisition of that property through condemnation or whatever that is. So I'm trying to blank on the name, but essentially that's what it is. We have to file a petition. It'll be in place. I think it takes 30 or 45 days, something like that, and then we'll be issued a notice from the court saying we have rights to entry. So that should wrap up the right-of-way process for the project.
Okay.
But that leaves the permitting still, which we knew was going to be critical path. So we're still dealing with Army Corps and TDEC for permitting and working our way and navigating through that and pushing that along as hard as we can.
All right, questions?
We did have preliminary discussions with the Corps and with TDEC about this, and so we're not springing it on them, and hopefully we've greased the skids a little on that. I mean,
Yeah.
Environmental. I mean, didn't we do an environmental thing even before? Some kind of,
There would have been an environmental document with the project.
yeah.
Um,
But now we're asking for permits.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So
And I see that the utility district has got some pipes out there. They're getting ready to
yes,
work on the water, right?
correct.
Any further discussion on that? All right. Moving right along. Our verbal update on the light synchronization project.
The bid opening for that project is next week. So hopefully we'll get some competitive bids on that.
Have we
Able to
received
award.
any yet? Bids?
We've been receiving questions.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know specifically.
It might be that might be a little early to submit a bid for that, but yeah, bid opening will be next week. That's exciting.
Yes.
Finally can see the light at the end of the tunnel on that thing. So,
Yes.
Synchronized.
amen, brother. Yeah, that's right. All right.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Are we tracking the traffic that's on Main Street leading up to Old Shackle Island, where everybody's turning left, getting onto Main Street? Because it was backed up from there all the way almost towards Madison. It was like a parking lot.
Yes, we've that. So you're talking from the construction project
Yeah.
back. Yes.
Like the light cycle's about half as long as it needs to be. It needs to be
Part of the issue with that is that it is under construction, so our loops like the detection has been eliminated, and we're kind of having to unfortunately suffer through the construction process. But once construction is complete and the new signal system is in, it'll have updated detection and be synchronized with the rest of the system.
Nice.
So I do know Chris monitors it as much as he can and tries to tweak with the timings as he can, but really the construction there is a hindrance,
It is what it is.
unfortunately.
Yeah. All right.
We kind of knew, I mean, that's a good question to ask, because I get a lot of, calls on about the traffic, and, it's like, sometimes the traffic's really good, and then sometimes and that's because the construction is what it is, and that's the pain of fixing something that we know we need to fix, but once it's fixed, I have no doubt that it's not going to be the problems that we've had there, it'll resolve itself. So
And we've been wanting to fix that intersection.
that's
for a long
exactly
time.
right, for a long time. And so that's just
You could also have an incident on Vietnam vets that just
Oh, yeah.
throws everything off too.
Yeah.
People displace themselves onto Main
Maybe
Street,
that's
and
what-
that throws everything
that could have happened.
off.
Yeah.
Because Waze took me up Gallatin Road all the way through Madison to Main Street. I was like, that's a weird route.
Okay, there's that.
So
I
they
bet
did
there was some
something on
kind
Vietnam's
of
bad.
fender bender or something on the interstate to make it that bad. I mean,
But we have a control in this office that we can control the timing on the lights, correct? I mean, we ran fiber between the lights, and we have a
Yeah.
controller here, so
We have a
Chris can,
monitoring system, so
Chris
Chris can
can-
see what's going on in the system as a whole. And and part of this next phase of the project will put in new detection that
Right.
gives him some better analytics as well.
So can he see from here the traffic that was
I don't
mentioned?
know. I don't know if it gets down to that level of detail. We don't have cameras, I can tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
but will he be able to tell what the traffic is like without, actually seeing it? Or,
That's a good question. You're talking with the new system, with the
Yeah.
new detection. I would have to ask Chris on that one.
we just ask him about it. We're not gonna get mad at him or anything. Just ask the question, if he can. And
We're happy to have a traffic engineer on
Yeah.
staff.
exactly, we're very much so. All right. So that's great news about the bid opening for the synchronization project. Now we're on to the discussion for the 2027 7 operating budget of Public Works.
I'll go ahead and leave this. This is PowerPoint for you guys if you want to look at it. I'm going to go through it on the screen here as well. I do want to remind everyone that this is draft. So undoubtedly we'll have some changes to it. I was just made aware of a change just a couple hours ago that I want to inform you on. But this is the operating budget. So the operating budget is the part of the budget that's recurring year over year. This is what we use to pay salaries, keep the lights on. This is not the budget for one-time projects. So we'll do projects at a later date, but right now what we are considering is just the operating budget.
All right.
So we already did a workshop on revenues. So we have not adjusted those revenues from what we originally presented at the BOMA workshop. So they've stayed static. The budget, when we made this, was balanced. Here is what we had to do to balance it. There's no paving in the operating budget.
Okay.
So traditionally, we've placed paving in the operating budget. We do not have the room to do that, so that's in the PIP fund. And there's no police vehicles in the operating budget. That is also in the PIP fund. We could not get the budget to balance without that.
So give me a comparison. Last year, how much paving did we have in the operating budget?
Last year, we also did no paving.
Okay,
in
so
the
we're gonna
operating
change
budget.
there. What about PD vehicles in the operating budget the current fiscal year?
I believe we did them out of the PIP fund last year as well too.
So this is no change of what we doing this year.
No, the reason we highlighted this was because last year was the first time we didn't do paving in the operating budget. And we've had some folks ask that we know that we're going to have recurring PD vehicles and they should be in the operating budget, but we just couldn't do it and balance the budget. So that's why we're drawing some attention to it. The next page has the.
Why are police vehicles in the operating budget? Like a fire truck is a one-time purchase.
Well, police vehicles, we do about 20 a year. So it's a recurring thing that we're going to do over and over again.
Okay.
So we have, we have over 150 in our police department. And so that requires us to do about 20 vehicles a year.
Keep them within the 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, you finished.
Yeah, sorry.
So we passed a resolution about replacement of fire and police vehicles. Does these impacts affect our ability to fulfill that resolution?
We are with PD. Yeah, we're fulfilling the resolution we're just using the PIP fund to do it rather than the general.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. That's all I wanted to make sure. Okay.
So the next page, we have our revenues. This is what we went over in the BOMA workshop. So you see we have almost a 2% uptick from what we previously budgeted. So 66 million for our operating revenues in fiscal year 27. And this is exactly what we've seen before. This is a pie graph showing the general fund. Again, of course, this is all the general fund, the revenue sources. And I think the story of this is it's pretty obvious that property tax and sales tax are what we rely on. All the other sources of revenue are very minimal compared to what we get in sales tax and property tax. So over 80% of the revenue is just from those two buckets.
So the actuals for 25 in the revenues are 65,364,000, correct?
What page are you on?
That's
Same
right.
page.
The operating.
Yeah, operating revenues.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so we are projecting 63,000, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is an increase in revenues of less than $1 million. Am I adding that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it says at the bottom, increase original budget 1.257 million. What am I missing?
That is so the far column is fiscal year 25,
Yes,
and we're comparing from fiscal year 26. We're throwing fiscal year 25 in for context,
Oh, I see.
but fiscal year 26 budget, so it says fiscal year 26 original budget to fiscal year 27 budget. So if you look at the second column over here, it's 64.8 million. So that's where that basically 2% increase is getting compared to. It's not getting compared to the 65.3 million. It's getting compared to the 64.8 million.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I should have stated that all these will be comparing to where we started the original fiscal year 26 budget. We throw the fiscal year 25 actuals in there for some history.
Gotcha, thank you.
Well, it's good for actual in comparison to what we paid or what was distributed out, as opposed to what we're predicting the future to be.
Yes, sir. And as we've spoken before, we want to be somewhat conservative with these numbers. Hopefully, we exceed our revenue projections, but we don't want to get out over our skis, so to speak. So
Yeah.
we're somewhat conservative with these projections.
Under promise and over deliver.
That's right. So general fund operating expenditures just gives us by department. So again, we see about almost a 2% increase at about $66 million for our general fund operating expenditures. These are all of our different departments. This is a pie graph of the general fund budgeted expenditures by department. I think the story here is, we're really heavy with public safety. So you can see that we put our money into public safety with police being 31% of the budget, fire being 25% of the budget, so almost 60% of the budget is police and fire. Our trash disposal is 10%. I mean, there's a lot of just non-negotiables in here. After that, central services and parks and public works kind of make up the biggest chunks, but it's mostly police and fire, so public safety. This pie graph here shows the salary and benefits from the general fund. Kind of the same story. You can see that the bulk of where we're putting our dollars is public safety, police and fire, between almost 19 million for police and almost 16 million for fire. All the other departments are, rather small compared to police and fire. So this is salary and benefit by department.
73%.
Yes, sir. 73%. So 3/4 of the budget for salary and benefits is police and fire. So that's our kind of our big bucket.
That's pretty standard for municipalities.
This next pie graph is the general fund operating budget by type. So we break it into salaries and benefits, operations, assets. Then we have some very small amount of debt, and then community contributions. So again, kind of the story here is salaries and benefits 71%, and that's primarily composed of police and fire. Very little for assets and debt service. Debt is very, very low, very low for community contributions as well. Like we discussed before, the general fund operating budget priorities were low property taxes. So this does not propose an increase in property tax. This keeps property tax where it was at. When we put this together, it's a balanced operating budget. So that's when our recurring expenses, our operating budget, can be met with recurring revenues. And then also debt reduction. We're continuing to reduce debt. So this budget year has almost 2 million less in outstanding debt. So we'll have about 1 million less in payments, but we have about 2 million less in outstanding debt when we compare ourselves to last year.
That's pretty good. I mean, honestly,
Yes, sir.
I like to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to see that compared with other peer
Oh,
cities.
yeah, for sure.
I think we would be way under debt
I agree with you.
compared to
Eddie.
other peer
Yeah.
cities. I think we've asked that information. Okay.
Yes, sir. So the next graph here is showing our total outstanding debt on fiscal year 26. That's the column on the left. Fiscal year 27 is the column on the right. The principal is the kind of blue shade, and then that, peach shade is the interest. So you can see it drops significantly for fiscal year 27, both in the principal and the interest. So really good as far as debt reduction goes for the city. Staffing considerations. So in the budget, it's a 2.8% cost of living adjustment, what we call a COLA.
Yeah.
This matches the 26 Social Security CPI. So that is baked in to all the positions pay, which then that calculates into the pension pay, Medicare, taxes, all those types of things that are associated with pay. So there's been a 2.8% cost of living boost. We did put in $25,000 in central services for unanticipated retirements. There was just a little bit of money. We had some discussion about putting some money into there for unanticipated retirements. We reviewed the balances on the books, and we feel this is actually a good number. Between fire and police, there will be some vacancies to absorb some of it within their regular budget, but then there's also a little piece in central services for unanticipated retirements. And then just as a note, we will be providing the org chart in the budget document, which shows you every position, the number of positions for every department. So we know exactly how many positions are allocated for the city. There's no additional positions in this draft budget.
Being added.
Correct.
So the size of government will stay the same. As
Yes.
far as number of employees,
Yes, sir.
full-time employees.
Yes, sir. Yes, this is full-time employees.
Yes.
Full-time employees. Okay, where we ended up, this is what it kind of boils down to. Our revenues are just over 66 million, expenditures are just over 66 million, but it leaves us a surplus of $24,000, which is, I think, a couple $1,000,000 better than when we started with just collecting requests from department heads and going through what everyone
Wish list.
wanted to have. So we pared it down. It was, I think, maybe a little over $3 million in the red. So when we put this budget together, we're about, almost $25,000 to the positive. We did just get notice today. I just got notice today that the city's pension contribution that we pay monthly to TCRS, which is a requirement of TCRS, the percentage that they're requiring the city to pay is increased. They typically increase those, I think, on 2-year cycles. So we are currently at 14.64% is what we contribute. So if an employee earns $100, then we contribute $14.64 to TCRS. They've raised that for our city to over 17%.
Ouch.
Which I did a very quick calculation before I walked in here because I just got notice of it. I think it was about $800,000, maybe just shy of $800,000. So the surplus that we see of $24,000 is effectively negative $750,000, if that calculation that I did is correct, because we are required to fund our TCRS, our pension program, at that. That's the minimum rate that we can contribute.
So there won't be a surplus.
No, sir. And I just got we printed these a couple days ago. I just got the update from TCRS 3 hours ago. So I want you to be aware. I don't want to tell you we're having a surplus.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, send you an email that says actually we're not going
Yeah,
to.
I was going to ask you, are you going to notify the Board of Aldermen tonight of this under your report, or are you going to hold off on it?
I probably won't under my report tonight because I'm not going to go over this with
Right.
them now.
Okay.
Our finance director is in finance going over the budget
Okay.
too, so I'm sure she is mentioning it as well. We just had to split up. We
Sure.
have 2 committee meetings going on,
All right.
but we are going to have to put this into the budget, and we will send notice out to BOMA. I don't know that we'll do it
Okay.
tonight.
So we're gonna have to cut more places in the operating budget to make a balanced budget.
We're going to have to do that, and we were planning to look at revenues again as we got another month or 2 of revenues in, because there's a possibility that we could increase the revenue projections as well. So we're going to look at both, and whether this came in or not, we were going to look at revenue projections to see if we can true them up better. So if revenue projections don't come up, yes, we will have to cut. If we want to balance the budget, we will have to cut $750,000.
If we don't want to increase taxes, we'll have
Yes,
to, we'll have
yes.
to cut. So let me ask you on staffing considerations. I see the cost of living. What about step raises?
That is included, yes. Merit
Okay.
raises are included, yes.
Okay. All right.
So that's kind of big picture overview of the budget
Okay.
for the city as a whole.
All right.
And so we're also going to go over, we included 2 departments in here. We don't have time to go through all departments, and we're not going to spend a lot of time line by line, but we did include Public Works Department budget in here
Yeah.
and Parks Department budget in here as well. So the way that this sheet works is if you look at row 16, that's going to total up salaries and benefits. So the total salaries and benefits for Public Works, you can see in the 3rd column, which is the fiscal year 26 original budget to the fiscal year 27 budget, is accounting for the COLA increases, the staffing at full capacity, and so we're at $2.55 million for salaries and benefits for Public Works for fiscal year 27. And then if you look at rows 17 down to 30, this is the operations piece of the budget. There's really no surprises here. Stephen has done an excellent job in keeping his budget as tight as possible. You will see a reduction in street lighting on 24. We're going to do an LED conversion.
Right.
So we did anticipate for street lighting to come down. We may still adjust that number. We want to get a little better estimates from our vendor on completion dates, because depending on when they're completed, it will depend on it will potentially change that number. The next page here just kind of totals everything up. And we have an increase for public works. Is this right? 0.12% increase over the previous year. Yeah, that is because, we did a reduction in the machinery and equipment. So the assets portion at the bottom actually has a reduction from what we did in fiscal year 26, and as well as operations total. So if you look at fiscal year 26 for operations total, it's 1.2, or it's about 1.1 for fiscal year 27. So this budget essentially as a whole has remained almost flat. It doesn't include, what we talked about as far as COLAs for employees, but some of these other.
So let me ask you this: when is our next budget workshop for the Board of Aldermen? Do you know right offhand?
We have it on a schedule. Let me see. I might be the last slide on here. I don't have the date.
Oh, here it is.
April 27th.
I'm sorry. You answered my question already.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you guys don't use computers?
That's my budget.
Yeah. So we centralized.
Typewriters.
That's zero.
Yeah.
Electric.
Every department used to buy their own computers.
We just do a lot of praying, isn't that right? That's how we go.
We centralized the IT, so we're all getting the same equipment, and so we have it on a cycle. So just like our
Okay.
police equipment,
Yeah.
we have a cycle for a rotation for our computers, and IT handles all this much smoother with IT handling it.
Fancy.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Makes sense.
I think if let me see if I go back here.
You want to go backwards?
Yes, if you can go back one, let's go to. Let's go forward one, please. Okay, right here, if you look at row 48, this is where we paid from. So in fiscal year 25, we had 3.2 million, as you're right, Mr. Robertson. In fiscal year 26, we went down to 0. And fiscal year 27, 0. So that's a big change for the Public Works Department. So that's the PIP fund where PIP was for paving, so paving is coming out of that.
So we'll also have street pay fund for pay as well.
Yes,
About $1 million is what we usually run for there.
yes, sir.
So is the paving budget going to be less than it was?
I don't think that the mayor wants to propose much of a difference. So
Okay.
there may be a one-time backlog or a backlog project in non-recurring to do some paving.
Well, that's what we did last time. We don't have much non-recurring revenues. By the numbers that at the first workshop, I mean, we were about $1 million, weren't we?
I think we might have a little bit more than that, but there's not a lot.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of room. So if we keep the numbers, we are going to have to do that to keep the numbers at what they were last year. All right, department budgets. This is for disposal. So this is our trash service, both our tipping fees, that's what we pay at the transfer station, and our pickup fees, which is what we pay at Waste Pro. Have about a 2% increase overall on this. That's kind of what we expected. So we're sitting around $6.5 million to collect trash, to dump the trash, and to do brush grinding. Any questions on that? Pretty standard. Parks Department. There's not a lot that really stands out in the Parks Department either. It is not a huge increase. I think if you look in electric, which is line 21, we've also decreased electricity here because we have more LED lights in the parks as well. So that's a good thing for our budget. These LED lights actually help our budget out in future years. There's a little bit of an uptick for repair and maintenance of ground improvements, but a lot of the operational side of things is relatively flat. Assets, machinery, and equipment, there's none in fiscal year 27. We've moved some of that to the PIP fund as well for parks. So overall, about 2.4% increase throughout their entire budget, which is less than $100,000, and that includes the COLA that goes in for staff as well. So That's the Parks Department budget, both, you know, really no surprises and relatively similar as last year.
So Jesse, where would we be without the PIP fund?
We would absolutely have to raise property tax significantly, or we would want to buy police vehicles and we wouldn't be hiring folks. We would be having a hiring freeze.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
PIP rolls off after 10 years.
Well, the citizens have to vote again whether to renew it. It has a sunset provision.
Okay. That was part of the sales of it, I guess.
It was, that was, you know, if you recall, Portland had just voted down the sales tax increase. And, I mean, I think that was a strategy to try to get the public to support it, that, hey, you know, in 10 years, if we don't use the money like we're supposed to, you take it away from the city. I fully expect them to renew it, you know. We'll have to do a campaign to advocate for it, but it's really benefited the city to be able to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The franchise fee, that's the utility thing that we added earlier this year, right?
Yes, we have several franchise fees, but they're combined. So we get several franchise fees and they're combined. But for Piedmont, yes, it'll be in that franchise fee line.
Okay. And the TRS going up to 17%, does that make the bridge program more or less attractive?
Less. So, well, it makes it more challenging to fund. So we went basically from 14.5 to 17, a 2.5% increase. That bridge program requires another 3.5% for the public safety employees. So, you know, you're over 20% contribution just for the pension. So, it makes it more challenging when our rate goes up because we don't have a revenue to offset that. So it's just an added expense. So
Okay.
it's another hurdle.
Okay.
So kind of just some date here for workshop number 2. That'll be April 27th here at City Hall. We're going to talk about the new and continuing projects. So this is operating budget. We will talk about, you know, all kind of the projects coming up. We will also talk about special revenue funds. So we'll get into State Street Aid, where we do some paving, stormwater, drug fund, hotel, motel, and PIP. Now those funds are restricted, called special revenue funds. The funds are restricted for what we can use, so there's not a lot of discretion. They're usually very simple to go through. We don't go out and buy office furniture with stormwater funds. We do stormwater projects only. Same with State Street Aid, the drug fund, hotel, motel. So we'll go through all those, but those are pretty straightforward. And that is it for the presentation.
You know what time the budget workshop's gonna be in April?
I
Set a time, 5 o'clock?
Typically,
No,
we-
6. Yeah, get here from work, so 6 o'clock, you get here at 6. The
I can
budget
be here
workshop-
6.
Yeah, at 6.
Yeah, I'll leave at 5.
I don't know that we've
And
said it.
hopefully you get here.
But you hadn't set a date for the
No,
time.
we'll put an announcement
Okay.
out for that.
All right.
But just as a heads up.
All right.
Are there any other operational revenue opportunities that we may be missing out on?
Well, we did pick up franchise fees last year. We maxed out hotel motel. PIP is to the maximum amount. You know, property tax is really the lever that boards have to pull. Outside of that, we're going to look at being cost neutral on our Parks and Rec programs. But that's rather insignificant. You know, when you look at that pie chart and you see that over 80% of it's sales tax and property tax, all those other little pieces are very small. We've updated our codes fees. We've updated our planning fees.
Court bonds.
We've updated court fines. So we've tried to go through and hit as many of those areas as we can. I think we're going to have to revisit, you know, parks fees just to make sure that we're breaking even. But that's a very small amount. It is on our radar to pay attention to anything that we can, you know, potentially add. But the big discretion is property tax, which, this doesn't include a property tax. So I don't know if discussion will come up about, potentially a fee for trash. I know we've had those discussions in the past. So we don't, it's just, we don't have a trash fee. We pick up trash. So I don't know, that might come up as a conversation. We thought we were in a pretty good place until we got news from TCRS today. So we're going to have to look at something, because the mayor said we need to present a balanced budget. So we're going to need to do that.
So the increase of the retirement system, is that a uniform increase, or is that, do they look at actual cost, of Hendersonville, and each jurisdiction, they look at the actual cost and then fluctuate that, or is that a uniform increase on TCRS?
It's done agency by agency. So our increase is going to be different from Gallatin's increase. They have assumption rates that they're going to use for market return, for mortality. I think that are going to be consistent across all agencies under their purview. I think our return rate is 6.75%, and that can fluctuate. So, if they see that the market's doing really well and they want to assume, the market rate of return is going to be a little higher, that amount could come down next year or the year after that. But they do each agency independent. So our rate increase is not necessarily going to be what any other agency is going to get. Now, a lot of agencies may be experiencing this because as the last couple of years, we've had to really boost salaries, and salaries feed into the pension system. So it wouldn't surprise me if other cities have kind of a similar uptick in pension liability.
So I've got a question for Stephen. The stormwater budget, is there any operating funds that's going into stormwater expenses? In other words, does the revenue from the stormwater fees that we all pay, do they cover the city's cost for stormwater expenses?
As far as I know, yes.
Because that's a utility. We can't just willy-nilly increase stormwater. It has to be based upon expenses in that category, I think by state law. So that's why I asked that question. Is there any, okay. You've answered my question.
So there may be a little bit of room. We do charge some of, like Steven's time goes to stormwater.
That's the question.
Some of Trace's time goes to stormwater because they
Yes.
spend their time on it.
Yes.
One of the things that we're going through right now is the cost allocation for overhead within the city department. So we traditionally haven't put IT as a cost overhead or HR as a cost overhead. So we may look at what that is for stormwater and for these other funds like State Street Aid, but we use most of the stormwater fund, mostly just for improvements. Now we may be able to, we can definitely justify, I think, a little bit more, but it's not a significant amount.
Okay. I just had to ask that question.
We already do a liquor by the drink tax. Is that correct?
We receive some liquor, a liquor tax. Yes, sir.
So some areas in Nashville have an extra one that goes just to that area.
I did not know that. I thought it was countywide.
What's on top of that?
Oh, so
So Nashville has authority to put
that's my next question. Did
Some of the neighborhood areas do it. So, like 12th South, that kind of area.
Yeah.
Germantown does it.
So they put a tax upon the tax to do that. Huh.
We thought about doing something like that.
I haven't. No, sir.
I'll go get a drink and I'll get the receipt and I'll show it to you and you can tell me if it's,
Okay.
Because I don't know whether our charter would allow that.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a
Might as well
land
ask,
question,
though.
I guess. Legal
Yeah.
question.
I'll volunteer to go get a drink in Germantown and
Yeah.
I'll bring you the receipt.
Now, liquor sales are, they're trending down. So our collections
Yeah,
on
but they
liquor
are.
tax have been down. They're not going up. Got to stay flat. So
Yeah,
Yeah, they like gummies.
that's right. That's it. Yeah.
but yeah, I'll look into that. See if that's an option for us.
All right.
Thank you.
That'll be interesting to see. To see whether they can do that. Okay. Is there anything right now? I appreciate the work and the effort that you put on. That is as an elected official, this is always the hardest part as being an alderman in the city of Hendersonville. I believe is how we do this, and then a lot of the discussion and figuring out how we take care of it. So I appreciate you all doing that. And I know, gentlemen, our work is just the beginning, so again, our next workshop is on this number 2 is on April 27th, and we'll find out when our date, the time is for that. Since there's no discussion on the operation budget at this time, we'll go on to other business. Does anybody have any other business to discuss?
I'll mention one thing regarding
Yeah.
the LED project, since that came up in the budget. That project is about 18 to 20% complete so far. That's kind of where we stand. I didn't put that as an agenda item, but perhaps I should have. So
I'm
they-
glad we're moving forward with it.
Yep.
20% complete. That's good. When are they actually getting completed with that? Do you know?
I would anticipate probably like midsummer. I
Okay.
mean, they are moving pretty quickly, but progress may not stay steady as it has.
Well, we're already seeing an impact.
Oh yeah.
And where in the city is that 18%? Is it on Main Street in Ward 1?
No, I'm trying to visualize the mapping on it. You'll have down kind of on the point on Indian Lake Peninsula, Lake Terrace, like the lower part of Lake Terrace. I think there's been a fair amount done over by is it Jack Anderson School, that neighborhood over there. I think Windcrest has been done.
Okay. All right. I just,
Savely, off of Savely, there's been a fair amount. So
okay.
yeah, it's kind of been dispersed around the city. They're not just moving in
You're
one
right.
spot.
Keep chipping away.
All right. One thing I do want to say, and I want to get with you on this because I don't have it in front of me, but I have a couple of sidewalk issues that I need to discuss with you.
Okay.
But we don't have to do it right now. Over in Monhaven Green, I guess that. In fact, that's why I want to hold off on this. I need to talk to Alderman Sassy about, because that's in his district, and I try not to go into people's. I've never done this. I always notify them if I've been asked to look at, because I want them to have the opportunity to either go by there and look at it. And I don't, I don't want them to think I'm trying to, drink their Kool-Aid, drink the Kool-Aid, on them when they should know about it. Because I've always felt that way for years. To let them know when I'm coming into their ward. Because I always like them. I always want to know people come in our ward because we got guns ready for them if they, which I'm just teasing on that part. But we do like to know, the aldermen need to like to know that. Okay, so I'll get with Public Works on that in the next couple of weeks.
All right.
All right, I guess that's the only thing that I have for Ward 1 at this, or just the other agenda items within the city. Glad we're doing the traffic. We're trying to relieve that, and I think that's probably a priority with the summer coming. Oh, I do want to say, which I'll say tonight, just real briefly, that people need to be prepared for the weather coming. I know, I mean, we've had a couple of good days, and I think we're going to be having almost a week worth of nice weather. But the wolf is at the door. It's all,
Nashville.
yeah. So I want people to be prepared for that, for coming, because we hadn't had the rain and the thunder and the tornadoes and stuff, but that's coming, the wind. So that's coming. All right. Anything else?
When will the red light at Maple be operating?
Maple Row,
Yes.
it is operational now.
Yes, it is.
Well, today it was blinking.
This morning it was, correct?
Yes, this morning.
Yes,
Coming out of
it
Chick-fil-A.
was probably mid-morning. They
Yeah,
got
it's
it
working
operational.
now.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was an issue with the detector. It needed like a firmware update and some chip inside of it or something.
Okay.
So they pulled that out, put a different one in, and it's operational now.
I just want to say, I think you're doing a great job stepping into your new role. I mean, you really trial by fire with the ice storm. I think you really did a great job, so
I
I
appreciate
appreciate you.
I'm trying.
Well, you're doing a good job, man. Hang in there, So, we appreciate everything that Public Works has done for us, and really excited about the opportunities that we have to go forward in Public Works with all our work. You've done a remarkable job. So is there any other discussion on any past agenda items? Hearing none, I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, there's been a proper